Assalamu alaikum and hi viewers, this is Sajjad Hussain once again and you are watching my YouTube channel. Welcome to the next episode on Poetics by Aristotle. Viewers, in today's video I am going to discuss with you Aristotle's theory of tragedy. That is very important as far as the book is concerned. In fact, this theory constitutes the chunk of the book, and we can safely say that it is the main prop or main support of the entire structure of the book. Uh, Aristotle is of the view that a tragedy, which is a type of poetry, has six constituent elements or six formative elements or six building elements, you can call them. These are plot, number one, character, diction, thought, melody, and spectacle. Now, plot is arrangement or sequence of incidents and events. In fact, it is the execution of the action. For the sake of simplicity, you can consider that plot is synonymous with action. Plot and action are the same things. Character, and when he talks about character, number two, he mainly focuses on the tragic character, who is the protagonist and who is the central character, who is the tragic hero. Thirdly, diction. Diction is the language that is employed while writing or while performing a tragedy. Fourth is thought. Thought is the idea or the intellectual content that is there in the play. And melody is the song. And in tragedy, we find out that there are choral odes or choral songs. And then the sixth part is spectacle, which is in fact indispensable to tragedy. A spectacle means the scenic representation and representation in the form of a scene on the stage. Now, out of these six parts, Aristotle has given emphasis on the first two parts, which are plot and character. According to him, plot is the most significant part of tragedy, and plot is the soul of tragedy. In fact, Aristotle has gone to the extent of saying that there can be a tragedy without character, but none without plot. Though it doesn't mean literally that even if a character is not there, tragedy can be executed. But he has said this in order to highlight the relative significance of plot. Okay, let's move on to discuss, okay, what are the different characteristics, what are the qualities that are there or that should be there in the plot of a tragedy. In the exams, my focus has always been to teach you and to tell you what are the different questions that are frequently asked in the exams, so that you can prepare yourself accordingly. So in this, the question on plot can be: discuss significance of plot in tragedy as given by Aristotle in Poetics. Or the question can be: discuss the relative significance of plot and character as discussed by Aristotle in his book. Or the question can be: according to Aristotle, there can be a tragedy without character but none without plot. What is your opinion? So, if questions like these are asked in the examination, you need to highlight and you need to bring to surface all the important features, all the important characteristics of an ideal plot that have been discussed by Aristotle in his book. In order to discuss different characteristics of a plot, we need to understand what is the definition given by Aristotle. He defines tragedy as an imitation of an action that is serious, complete, and of certain magnitude, in language embellished with peripety and anagnorisis, which serve to invoke the feelings of pity and fear, resulting in catharsis. Now, if you analyze this definition and if you try to dissect this definition, you will see that on the one hand, Aristotle has discussed the formative parts or the different structural elements of plot, and on the other hand, he has also given us the reason for such plot. According to him, the purpose of tragedy is to invoke the feelings of pity and fear, resulting in catharsis. Now, this is called tragic end. This is called tragic purpose. And when feelings of pity and fear are invoked, we say that tragic pleasure has been achieved, which is obviously the end or purpose of tragedy. Okay, when Aristotle says that tragedy is an imitation of an action that is serious, it means action or plot, because plot and action, they are synonymous. So plot should be serious. Now what does it mean? A serious plot is a plot in which there is reversal of fortune, of the hero. The tragic hero, who is the protagonist and who is the central character, falls from the peak of glory to the bottom of infamy or notoriety. And because of this reversal of fortune, tragic pleasure is invoked. Feelings of pity and fear are invoked. This is what you see in case of Oedipus, the king. He is a renowned king. He is a prosperous king. He is highly regarded and respected. But he falls from that greatness to ignominy and to the pit of notoriety when it is found out that he has committed incest and parricide against his parents. So the first important aspect of a plot is the first important characteristic of an ideal plot is that it should have serious action. The second thing is that the plot should be complete, action should be complete, and complete action means there should be proper beginning, middle, and end. Plot should be of certain magnitude. Next characteristic, magnitude is length. Now this is something that needs to ponder over, that action or plot should neither be very small nor too large. And Aristotle has used an analogy. He is of the view that if a living organism is microscopic and we cannot see it with naked eye, we will not be able to appreciate its beauty. Same is the case with a gigantic creature, and he gives the example of Leviathan. He is of the view that if a creature is too large, there will be no symmetry and there will be no harmony and there will be no balance in the different parts of that creature. Will not be able to see the beauty of that creature, because beauty, according to Aristotle, beauty lies in harmony, beauty lies in balance, beauty lies when all the individual parts are in proportion to the overall being or the overall body or the overall size. So if the action of tragedy is very small, we will not be able to enjoy it, and if it is too large, obviously there will be boredom and there will be dullness and monotony. Next, Aristotle says that the action or plot should have ornamental devices of language. Now, what are these ornamental devices? There should be peripety and anagnorisis. Anagnorisis is a Greek term for knowledge, for realization, for awareness, realization from ignorance to knowledge. And peripety is reversal of fortune. So when there is awareness, when knowledge dawns on a character, the result is that the fate is reversed. This is what we see in case of Oedipus. Oedipus Rex is a classical example, is a textbook example of Aristotle's conception of tragedy. And it is said that Aristotle had in his mind as a specimen this trilogy by Sophocles. Oedipus Rex is a trilogy by Sophocles, and Aristotle had in his mind this tragedy, and keeping in mind this play and keeping in mind the fate of Oedipus, he gave all his postulates of a tragedy or tragic theory. I hope up to now things are not very difficult. So action should be of certain magnitude. It should have the devices of peripety and anagnorisis. And all this is done in order to invoke the feelings of pity and fear, resulting in catharsis. Now, this part of the tragedy is not a formative part of the plot, or it is not the building part of the plot. It has something to do with the function of the plot, or the function of tragedy, or the function of action in tragedy. Other than these, there are other important aspects of a good plot, of an ideal plot, that subsequently Aristotle refers to. For instance, he is of the view that a good plot, an ideal plot, should have organic unity. Organic unity means that there should be wholeness, there should be completeness, there should be a sense of togetherness. All the incidents and all the events and all the happenings should have a logical connection. These should be interwoven, these should be closely knitted, and these should be placed in a manner as it should be impossible to separate different parts. Once again, he gives the example of a living creature. If one part of a living creature, of a living being, is amputated, it is separated from the body, the entire structure of that living being is disturbed. So this also suggests, and this also shows, that according to Aristotle, tragedy and plot of tragedy is something living, is something that is full of life. It is not something inanimate. And Aristotle also believes that all the incidents and events in a plot should be according to the principle of probability and necessity. And this principle of probability and necessity means that there should be nothing superfluous, there should be nothing out of place. One incident or event should be the logical outcome of the previous incident and events, and there should be a conclusion on the basis of this series of incidents. As far as the plot is concerned, Aristotle believes that the plot should have unity of action, which means that all the incidents and events should move around one central event or one central character. This is what we see in Oedipus Rex. Once again, I will refer to Oedipus Rex because this is the ideal example. This is the best example to study Aristotle's theory of tragedy, because whatever has been discussed by Aristotle, all these things are there in the play. Later on, later critics also believe that Aristotle spoke about the unity of time. Now, this unity of time is something that is debated. The critics believe that Aristotle only referred to it, and he did not give any hard and fast rule that the action of tragedy, when he says that action of tragedy should be completed in one circuit of the sun, one circuit roughly means 24 hours, as far as possible. And this is the phrase that has been added by Aristotle, as far as possible, which means that there is no hard and fast rule for the time of a tragedy, for the time limit of a tragedy. And there are people who believe that Aristotle also talked about the unity of place, which means that the entire action should be completed, executed at one place. But there is there are many critics who suggest that Aristotle didn't mention it at all. So three unities is also something that can be studied under the heading of plot. I hope this discussion would help you a lot regarding plot of tragedy. Inshallah, in the next lecture, I will discuss Aristotle's ideas regarding character and tragic hero and hamartia and tragic player. All these things, inshallah, would be discussed in the next lecture. I think this is all for today. Do give me your feedback in the form of comments so that I can plan my lectures accordingly, and keep following, keep watching, and do keep me in your prayers. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz. I also wish you a very happy Ramzan al Mubarak. Thank you very much.